Quick show of hands. Who here has either led a squad or CO'd a game? Okay, you shut the hell up.
You don't count.
All right.
The first stop I played
Yeah.
Shanghai
no,
happens. All right. Start off quick. Who here has any intention of taking a squad and or COing a game at some point down the road? Okay. Have you actually done this on field with a bunch of 12-year-olds that are going to run around and scatter on your ass in the bushes yet? Okay. So the first thing you need to realize is they are going to fucking scatter unless you can literally chain them together. Trick is communications. Let them tell you, I'm going over here. Okay. At that point, you've actually got some clue where not to shoot and nail one of your 12-year-olds in the back. He's laughing because he knows it's freaking true. Communications are key. First thing you need to do is make sure everybody's on the same page. If it's hand signals, if it's slap on the shoulder to let you know they're moving, whatever they're doing. Somebody has to be communicating. If you're not, you're failing right off the bat. Good old-fashioned, out of the textbook squad tactics, we were just discussing this, are all well and good. Squad tactics are all well and good until you start getting shot at and everybody panics, scatters, dives face first in the mud. Okay? You need to learn to adapt. You need to keep control of your squad. If not, knowing exactly where they are, know what vicinity they went to so you're not shooting them in the ass. Again, he's laughing because this shit does happen. Alright?
Oh my God, this is good.
It's unfortunate. You get out into a field in the spring, summer, especially here in New England, shit gets thick. You can't see 10 feet in front of you half the time. You hear movement, guess what? You just lit your battle buddy up in the ass.
And it's even sometimes the experienced guys will do it too because they're so excited to get back out in the field. They don't
You hear
think
that
about what
twitch,
they're
the
doing.
trigger goes, and next thing you know, you got a blue on blue. Okay, so basically start off communications. You've got that. Say you've got 5 guys, okay? You need to know you've got 2 here, 2 there. This is at a squad level, okay? If you can't control that, you need to practice that more. You need to get out, play with the same guys all the time, learn each other's movements. You need to be able to know, okay, he's going over there, I need to cover his ass. Me and him, we do this all the time. You won't hear a word out of him.
Boy, do I cover his ass.
Oh yeah, and he loves doing it.
It's a good feeling.
But
when
Do you
there's
just
somebody that knows
smack
what
it
you're
or do you
thinking.
grab
He
it?
tends to grab and lift, but there's no communication because we know what the other guy's going to do.
You hear him go,
Sometimes. It depends on how quiet I have to be at the time. But the point is, you need to play with the same guys. If you can't do that, it's understandable. Some people run around, they never join a team, and they never run with the same people. They just bounce field to field, game to game. That's all well and good. That's the guy you're going to see running out in the middle of fucking nowhere getting lit up. He's going to run right into that saw gunner that's in place every damn time.
and complain about it.
That's actually called a Call of Duty player.
Yeah.
Because you're used to playing your video game by yourself, running around like Roscoe
Spray and pray
Jenkins.
target.
You come out here to a field and you start running around and running into problems.
Exactly. When you're used to running around solo, you're going to run into problems. You step up to games like Cobalts, you go to Spring Offensive, Autumn Justice, you're going to run into issues trying to run around by yourself. First off, because it's not allowed. Those are squad-based games. At the minimum, a recon team is a 2-man team and have to be within sight of each other at all times. So you've got issues if you're breaking off running around solo. The Call of Duty shit does not work. Just because in that game, no, not acceptable. If you're in a squad-based game, you are not allowed to break from your squad, or at the minimum, a fire game. And at that time, you need to let your squad leader know, we're going over here. Because then, if necessary, they have to relay that up to the command staff. Because the command has to know, okay, well, I've got guys here, so let's not send an entire platoon into that building. And yes, it does happen. As far as COing a game, in all honesty, a lot of people need to get control of a squad before they're capable of taking a game. Doing a run and gun at any local field is all well and good. When you can teach a bunch of 12-year-olds to actually do what you need them to do and earn their respect to the point that they do it, without question, then you can step it up a little in CO. Literally, learn to wrangle the cats. I'm telling you, it's the funniest damn thing trying to do it.
Learn to nail Jello on the wall.
Yeah.
With that said, they're looking for authority. They look to you. I mean, these guys want the full experience. They're looking for your authority.
You're going to take that 12-year-old that comes out, thinks he's playing Call of Duty, plays it every day on Xbox, gets shot for the first time, goes, fuck, this hurts. Because nobody gave him any guidance. Now, if you grab that kid and go, you know what, stick with me, I'm going to show you how to move. Do it one-on-one, who cares? Take the time. develop that. Grab another guy the next time. Okay? You actually will form a squad. Even if you guys don't play together as a team, they show up. They know they can run over with you. They go, okay, let's work together, and you actually get more shit done. You'll walk through step by step. You'll be given an objective, and you'll take it down. That's the trick. Is a big part of what we're trying to do, especially with Nasty, is building the community in this area. Okay, part of that is players actually taking the time to help other players. Older, younger, doesn't matter. If it's their first time out, pull them aside. Say, you know, all right, that mag is falling out. This pouch is on zip. Give them the stupid shit like that, all right? Earn somebody's respect. Show them some respect. Don't be a dick to them. And usually they're going to want to run with you again. A lot of the time, that's actually how you'll form a team. You get the same 5, 6 guys running together all the time. And at that point, guess what? You've got your squad. You guys can actually start training together. You can actually work together, go to games, and get shit done. Now, as far as actually going up, you go into like a spring offensive type setting, you're going to get steamrolled the first few times out. Unless you've trained and got everything on point the whole way through. You've got bigger teams, bigger squads that have run together, sometimes for years. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, what's one of us?
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't care what you've heard about these guys. They're actually a good bunch of guys, but they're still assholes.
What? It's not an asshole, it's a hobby. It's a hobby.
Being an asshole is a hobby. I'm very good at it myself. One thing to keep in mind, though, you're going to be running against bigger teams at first. It's going to suck. Yes, they know each other. They know what each other are going to do. Okay? That's where you got to have one person in command. There has to be a squad lead. Every step of leadership is one person. You cannot have people fighting over that job. If you do not have it clearly established, this is my squad lead, everything's a clusterfuck from the beginning. You will fail. So get your group of guys. Figure out, okay, who's in charge? Go from that point. Squad lead needs to make sure everybody is where they're supposed to be. You need to be checking ammo status, water status, especially up here. You get those 95-degree days, you will have people on the ground behind you if you're moving too much. Keep an eye on your guys. Leadership extends well past just telling them, go over there and do that. You need to actively be watching your guys and make sure everybody is in good shape. Whether it's how many mags you got left. All right, walk up, tap their hydro, see if it's empty. If they're not carrying a hydro, somebody fucked up to begin with. I don't care if it's 20 degrees out. You will dehydrate in cold weather just as quick as you do in the hot weather. All right, you don't even realize you're sweating half the time in the winter. And we play year-round up here, contrary to what the rest of the country likes to think. You know, they think we only play 6 months out of the year. Well, guess what? No, we play year-round. I do have to say, we are probably some of the most hardcore bastards in this hobby. Everybody else is playing in deserts. They're playing, you know, in temperate environments for the most part all year. We play in 3 feet of snow. We're out there trudging through this shit. We had people at a local field, game about a month and a half ago. They took shovels out on field. They made themselves World War II style snow trenches. Yes. Okay? But they did that under direction. You had a CO at that game that actually planned it and thought it ahead. We're going to have snow on the ground. Let's make use of this. It's not an obstacle. It's a damn tactic. Guess what? It all starts up here. If you cannot outthink your enemy, they're just going to run you the hell over. You need to be able to think, and that's where it comes back to. Field tactics from textbooks are all well and good. They serve a purpose. They teach you to move together. They teach you to shoot together. At a certain point, those tactics are invalid on today's field. Battlefield, real life, battlefield, airsoft, doesn't matter. You need to learn to adapt. You need to break your team, go from a squad to 2 fire teams, and be able to flank. Be able to hold point here, the other squad goes around. If you're not adapting to changing conditions on the battlefield, guess what? Everybody's stuck in a hole fighting behind a rock all day and nobody's having fun. You want to have an enemy team come off shaking your hand? Give them a fight. Take your guys out into the bush. Go where nobody's thinking you're going to go. If they're expecting you to come up the road, don't. Don't ever go up the damn road.
Speed kills still. Path the most resistance. Speed kills still. If you're in a rush to get somewhere, they know it.
Exactly. Not only that, if you're running, these guns don't make the same level of noise of a real firearm. You're not going to hear the shots going before they come and slam into you. Speed kills. Take it nice and easy. If you've got a clear shot and you know the area is secure, get in the building. Haul ass. Do it. But don't do it everywhere. Odds are somebody's going to twist an ankle, somebody's going to hurt themselves. when it comes right down to it, what is Airsoft? It's a game. We're out here to have fun. We're not out here to hurt each other. We're not out here to hurt ourselves. Yes, these things do happen. That's when you yell the famous words, real world, and scream your head off like a little bitch. These things do happen. Plan for it. Make sure there's people on field that can properly address an injury. Get the injured guy the hell out of the field. Don't ever take this game too seriously. Because when it comes right down to it, you're sitting there yelling and screaming, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'm guilty of this. Yes, I've been there. That's how I'm speaking from experience. It gets you nowhere. You lose players' respect as their squad leader or commanding officer when you can scream to a certain point for communication to be heard. When you're yelling at them, and one thing I've never even done, I will not dress down somebody that screwed up in front of people. If they screwed up, you pull them aside, quietly, and you explain what they did wrong. Okay, this is not what I needed you to do. I needed you to do this, but you did this instead. You got to get on the same page with it, especially if you're COing a game. Platoons, squads, you need to be right there with them. I'm not a big fan of sitting back at a CP. I'm one of the most frontline COs you'll ever see on the field. I will be right up in there kicking in a door. I just make sure I'm not the first guy in the staff. Okay? Lead by example. But at the same time, show your players respect, because when it comes down to it, they're players. They're paying money to be out there the same as you are. They're not out there to get screamed at and yelled at and blah, blah, blah. And yes, a Milsim game is a different story. You're at your local field for a weekend running gun. Who the hell wants to go out there and get yelled at? You're out there to play. Exactly. For some of us, Airsoft is our trigger time. It's how we blow off steam. You get yelled at work Monday through Friday. You don't want to deal with that shit on the weekends. You want to go out, you want to have fun. That's the point. Fun. It is still a game, as competitive as it gets, still a game. You have to keep that in mind at all times. And I am personally guilty of this, and I fully admit it. Doug will bear witness. My guys will tell you the same thing. I lost focus on that, and I was getting too competitive with it. There's video of it, yes. I had to back myself down. Okay, I had to put it back into my head that it's a game. We're all here to have fun. Am I allowed to yell at people as their CO? Yes, sometimes just because they can't hear me otherwise. Half the time, they're not even on a radio. So you need to learn that. You got to keep it in, literally, you got to keep it in perspective the whole time you're on the field. Even at a squad level. If you're yelling at your guys the whole time, ripping them a new asshole because they stepped wrong, they're not going to want to listen to you. They're going to tell you to screw, and they're going to sit on their asses. The quickest way to lose motivation is to stall out because you yelled at them. You stop and take that 30 seconds to yell at somebody and scream at them because they screwed up, guess what? You just lost 10 minutes, if not more. It'll fail every time. This is your friend. I don't care if people go and get a freaking $10 one from Walmart that only works for 10 miles out. Guess what? In a treat area like this, you're lucky if you get a half a mile. But it'll give you some form of communication. This one here, Biofangs, well, you can get these for about 40 to 50 bucks. This little bastard's got a powerful transmitter and a powerful receiver. You don't want to spend money on a $300, $400 radio, well, guess what? Here's your alternative. Get something like this. Get a puck sync. Dude, get the Motorola's from Walmart. It literally doesn't matter. You just need to be on comms. That's another thing. You cannot CO or squad lead or platoon lead without communication. If you don't have a radio, don't put that hand up when you're asked. Because you need to be able to maintain communications with hires so they know where you're going. Again, run into the situation. My team's taking this building. Nobody knows. Here comes a whole platoon coming in firing. And it's your own team that just shot you in the ass. It's basic Command 101, maintain communications at all times. I understand there's going to be times you're being a sneaky little motherfucker off in a bush somewhere and you don't have a radio, an earpiece for your radio, so you turn it off. Okay. When you're done sneaking through the bush, turn the damn thing back on. It's actually not all that hard, and you'd be amazed how many people just don't do it. It happens. I mean, anybody that's run at a game that has more than 10 to 15 people, I see it all the time. Communications make a difference. You'll be sitting in a building holding a point. All of a sudden, you get hit from 3 or 4 different sides. Well, what the hell happened? They were actually coordinated. It doesn't take much. A couple words on the radio, and everybody knows where everybody is. We're coming north side, we're coming south side, okay. Problem solved. But then again, that also falls back at the minimum. If you're going to squad lead, you have a radio. If you're going to platoon lead, you damn well better have a radio. If you're a CO and you don't have a radio, you don't need to be doing it. You can't maintain control. There's your problem right there. And control, it's a relative term. I don't mean it as in knowing exactly to the foot where every guy is, what they're doing, telling them how many times they can shoot. No, that's just going way overboard. Control is literally making sure that you're doing your job as a CO. There's a reason a lot of event runners don't charge the CO and it's considered a staff position. A staff position means you're there for one reason, in my mind. This is my own personal opinion. Doug, correct me if I'm wrong. As a CO, you're supposed to be the one making sure your team's doing what they're supposed to and having fun doing it. Because it's a game. If they're not having fun, why are they going to come back and do it again?
CO is work.
It is. You're
It's a lot of
considered,
work, and
you're
it starts
considered
way
staff.
before the game starts.
And your squad leaders, your platoon leaders, they work too. But they're still, they're paying to be there the same as everybody else. Which is why, as a CO, you can't really rip into these guys too much. I mean, you can obviously correct them, but like I said, don't ever rip a player apart in view of everybody else. If they mess up, you pull them off to the side, and you do it one-on-one and very quietly. And at the same time, continually maintain the respect. Because when it comes right down to it, they can tell you to go screw and walk off field. This isn't the real military. No matter how SEAL Delta Ranger you want to be with all your, fry gear, everything like that, when it comes down to it, they can walk off anytime they feel like it. So if you're not maintaining respect with your guys, you're not going to get very far. Again, personal experience. I was that asshole. I had people walk off the field on me.
He agreed to disagree.
Yeah, keep shaking.
We like that asshole.
No, you don't like that asshole.
The cover on it, isn't it?
It's honestly, I mean, does anybody have any questions about what I've said so far?
Holy shit, that's sick.
It's pretty basic when it comes down to it. It's a game. It's a hobby. Is it competitive and sometimes extremely fucking brutal? Yes. But there's also that little thing called respect. At a certain point, I pulled my entire team back. We can't pin any respawn. I literally pulled the team back, well, most of them. Pulled them back so the enemy could actually progress out, because after about 10 minutes of it, we were going to start seeing people walk off the field back in the parking lot. They couldn't get out of the respawn because there was a lack of leadership on their side. So I had to actually call my squads and pull them back, give them room to maneuver, let them out so they see, okay, well, we're actually in the game again. When you're stuck in your respawn just getting shot at, that's no fun. And guess what? A lot of games it's actually allowed. There's a certain point where you should know who you're up against as a CO, and you should actually be communicating with them, even on field. I don't care if you're out there with your damn cell phone and each other's numbers. Hey, my guys are getting pinned in. They're starting to get pissed off. Can you back up a little bit? You should be perfectly willing to do this so the game continues and everybody's still having fun. Because the minute they're not, either somebody's going to get physical and violent, or somebody's going to walk off field, and most likely if they walk off field, they're not going alone. So what happens next round, everybody takes their break, 3 cars pull out of the parking lot full of people. There goes the game. Does it happen? Yeah. Good chunk of being a CO is being able to take your guys that are still there and take them back out on field and keep fighting.
There's a kid at CTG that's like,
What was that last game? What were we down? It was like 30. Yeah, 10 to 30. We still went out and held them probably halfway across the field for a good half an hour. And we had a blast doing it. They weren't having so much fun, but I figured, what the hell? They got us 3-1. We're going to light them up. But everybody had a good time. We all came off the field, shake my enemy CO's hand, everybody saying good game to each other, having a fun day. That's the point. Yeah, well, there was a little fun there, but... Anybody have any questions they want to ask? Anything I didn't touch on that you guys are curious about? Okay. Comm procedures, keep it short, keep it simple. You don't want to be sitting there, well, this guy came over here, and I got to go over there, and I got to do this. No, okay, we're here. You should have a map, hopefully, at least give them an idea where you are. We're here, getting hit by 2 squads from this direction, I'll copy. Wait for a response. Another common mistake with radios. The second you hit this button, it's not transmitting. Rule of thumb, hit the button, wait 2 seconds, speak. Then release the button 2 seconds after you're done speaking. That way you get a clear transmission of your message. And you wait for a response back. They didn't answer right away. Don't hit them again. Oh, what's going on? Don't do it. Because odds are, UCO in a bigger game is probably going to have more than one radio channel. They may be talking to somebody else, heard you, and are taking the time to properly figure out, okay, well, these guys are here. They're looking at a map. They will get back to you. Short, sweet, and clear. All right? You don't want to overflow with information. Keep it basic, keep it concise.
Do you typically communicate between squads, or everybody goes through the command?
It depends on how the game's set up. That's actually a really good question, because you'll see it at a bigger game. Sometimes you will have inter-squad channels. Like, you know, say you got a 40-person team. Well, guess what? That's not a squad. That's a platoon. So your guys just split up. You can run a second comm channel from squad to squad. I personally, as a CO, have no issue with that, provided that the squad leaders are still monitoring. Inter-squad communications,
it might be easier to go through. Excuse me, guys.
as long as command channel is maintained.
Do you ever scan or carry an extra radio?
I always have an extra radio on me. As far as scanning, I don't, because in all honesty, if I know what the enemy's going to do, I don't see a challenge. Yeah, I won't bother picking up on their channel.
Oh, no, I don't mean scanning their channel. Like you were saying, you have multiple channels, you know, different squads using different channels.
No,
So,
the way I see
you know,
it is
you
if
got,
they feel-
okay, I got my squad radio, I got my command radio.
Honestly, if I'm commanding, I don't have time to sit there and worry about whatever squad's saying between them. It's up to that point. Their squad leads need to notify of anything that's going on that I need to be aware of. If they want to run their own channel, that's all well and good, as long as I still have command directly to the squad leader. If I can get a hold of them, I'm happy. Yeah,
I real see what I do on comms, and you know, when dealing with, you know, because I've run sides usually like 300, so I'll have a team of 300. What I'll do is, normally you'll have a VIP. The VIP who is, you know, the puppet CEO of the team. He'll be 6. Me being EXO, actually running the team, my number will be 5, and then I'll have, say, 4 platoons. So then you'll have a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those will be your platoon leads. Those guys are all on your network, okay? Or if you want to shrink it down, you can shrink it, you know, depending on your team size. But as far as being a large size, you go 6, or if you want to give them, call them Eagle or Afghanistan or whatever you want to call them. But the norm is like 6, then your EXO's 5, and then it'll trickle down. When you're in a platoon size, your platoon LT, he'll be, say we're looking at first platoon, that guy will be 1 or 1 actual. Then you'll have 4 squads underneath that. So you'll have a 1-1, a 1-2, a 1-3, a 1-4. Same thing. So if I want to talk to the lead, it'll be give me 1-1 actual. So I'll know who I'm talking to there. And that, you know, that'll give you a basic breakdown. All those guys that are actuals should be on one network by themselves. Your individual squad or that area, they can have their own frequency, which most guys, like my guys, most teams will be on, most people run on UHF. I go on VHF myself, so I don't have to listen to any of you, and then I have a radio guy that'll have both, and I'll communicate out of that. And that's, you know, my basic comm setup. It'll, you know, that is your comm standard. So no matter where you play, that's usually how it's run. So depending on where you look at it. Being a CO or an XO, depending on what style event it is, you want your platoon leads and your squad leads on your frequency, and then they should have their own private channels. If one of them goes down, they should have the intelligence enough to flip the channel to communicate with you, or you'll know that whole group is down. You know, looking at from a CO standpoint.
From a CO's perspective,
and that
loss of communications is a nightmare.
That being a CO responsibility, you should have all that stuff set up before you're at the field, okay? You need to act as if all the time. So if you're picking up and COing a game, act as if that's what you're there to do. You demand that respect, and they will respect you. If you don't go in that way, and if you're not prepared, they're not going to respect you. So you need to have all those preparations. Have that comms plan out front. Have running passwords out before the game. Have your quick passwords out before the game. Have what channel you're on, the comms network, have all that out before the game. If you don't have all that stuff done, or you can't have it done, you shouldn't be running a game. You know, you shouldn't be running a side. So all that stuff should be done prior to. That's like when I run events, I let COs go in for free because it's his responsibility to do all that prior to. Have your maps printed.
I CO'd quite a few games for you last.
Yeah, maps, you should have the maps, have your grid coordinates, you should have all that stuff done. You should be prepared. If you are prepared before the game, when you go on the field, your players think you're prepared, so they're going to be prepared as well. If you don't do it, they won't. Do you have what? Because they don't know what comms network they should be on. You should have told them what they should be on. You should have told them they needed that radio. You should have told them they needed that channel. You should have told them that they should have said flash and somebody should respond thunder. You should have all that stuff done pre-game so when you actually enter a field, you're good to go. And if you do all that, they're going to do exactly what you tell them to do.
And on top of that, the next time you CO a game, you don't have to worry about the roster being quite so low. I don't know if I can do because they've run with you before. You've established trust. They know what they're going to get. They know you're going to be there on point with them. Everything's done. Okay, we kicked ass last time. Let's play for this guy again and do the same thing.
If you go in with the mindset and show them all, this is what we need to do to win. Is that what you all want to do? If you all want to win, I'll give you the win game. Great, then we'll win. If you just want to go around and have fun, I'll give you that game too. You know, so everybody COs a little differently. I CO more of a special forces style. I let my guys work. I come up with a game plan, but I trust them to do what they want. So he's going to do what he wants to do versus doing some guys micromanage. And I want this one here, that one there. You look at what you want to do. Me, I'm special forces. This is what I want to accomplish this game. Your platoon's doing that one. Your platoon's doing that one. Your platoon's doing that one. Your platoon's doing that. These two guys are on QRF. Let me know. My recon guys are going. Boom. You set that tone. They're going to do it. If that's how they want to play. But you gotta. It's all pre-game.
And as a CO, though, keeping that whole sand table mentality going, that's all well and good, provided you don't mind a potential aneurysm by the end of the day. It's some people can do it and some can't.
Everybody plays a different style. You know, like I run a lot of games, and I try to pick two different style COs. One that runs this way, runs guys that way. You have to pick how you actually want to play, and then the players that want to play that way will come to you. So don't hide what you're going to do. Get it out there, how you want to play. Jim usually plays a bad guy. Okay, so he usually runs the evil-sized team. I like that, so I will go underneath them. If the people that want to run underneath the gooder style, like you have guys that want to run a US versus an OP4, you know, stuff like that. You got to figure out what's your fit and really kind of play to that. Don't pick a role that you can't do. You know, it's like I just did a game where it was like, you got to kill babies. Are you okay with killing babies? Because if you can't kill babies, you don't want to be on the side. You got to be bad. That's what I'm looking for.
Those babies got experts.
Yeah, if you want to play that, so you got to kind of pick what kind of games you want to do, etc. You know, depending on what events are out there. But yeah, no, comms. Set it up all pre-game, set up meetings pre-game. And same thing what he was touching on as far as yelling people. Coach, correct, and correct. I mean, they're not trained.
You're not there for discipline.
You picked up the CO job. Basically, you're saying you're okay to train and work with people. Teach them what you want them to do before the game. Have a small class. If you have a specialty, sit down with them for 10 minutes prior to have a meeting. I mean, all those things are going to give you that respect you're looking for, and then they're going to have
As far as COing the game, they don't even need to go that way. Some people don't want to do it. They have no interest in actually organizing that much. That's okay.
I don't like COing. Yeah, I hate it.
Some of us don't like it, but we do it anyway.
We've got a team we're getting together to go to spring offensive, ultimate battleground.
Like I said, designate your squad
I've been
leader.
assigned a squad as a squad leader, so I'm going to have two fire teams. Never done that before. That's why I'm really wondering about the communications and how I'm expected to communicate back to command.
They're going to do
or-
what I just told you. That's
Yeah.
how it's run there. That is the common comm system that they're going to use at any game. It's a military comm system. Once they're using, once there's a lot of people there, that small stuff doesn't work. You need to go have a guy that's designated radio. If your squad is on command net, it's chaos and it just doesn't work. So you're always going to have, you're going to have a radio with 8 guys on that channel or 10 guys or 16
CO
guys.
doesn't need that in his ear.
He's never going to hear your squad, so they're going to be on a separate thing. So if you're running a squad, you're going to need 2 radios. I run a radio, but running a squad, I have a radio guy, and he does my communications for me. So I don't even want to go there because I don't have time to do that. That's my mindset. How you're going to do things is different. You find out what works for you and how you want to run your team. People are going to flock and run that system. They're under you because they want to be under you. So give them what they're looking for.
And again, it comes back to it is a game.
Yeah.
As organized as you may be, as much as you guys may drill and practice, that's great. I love seeing the teamwork. But when you lose focus on the fact that it's a game, it's not fun for anybody.
Whatever you plan, it's not going to go that.
No plan ever survives first contact.
You're going to spend time making a plan for like a week. Preach it for an hour right before you go out. You're going to go out there, and it's not going to go that way.
Wait, what did we do?
One thing you guys want to do if you're going to, especially lead at the squad level, learn the by-the-book tactics. Learn what take Black Sheep's squad tactics class if you can. Read field manuals. I don't care. That's all well and good. Do that squad tactics, but learn to adapt off of it and continue from there. Those tactics only work to a certain extent. They were designed 50 plus years ago.
Well, you should know it because they're going to use it.
They're going to use it against you. You need to know it so you can actually see it coming and go, oh shit, okay. Break off you guys, and all of a sudden they get hit from 2 sides instead of 1.
If they're all trained to breach right when they enter a room, guess which way you should be aiming every time they enter a room. They're all trained the same way. So if you know how they're trained, that's how you fight them.
The other thing, guys, too, is when you have guys that have been at fields and you've never been one, trust what they say. First time I went to GZA, they're like, oh, you don't want to go here, but there's a good spot for this. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Take your squad over, just keep me informed.
In a military setting, how military's trained, realistically the guy that's more familiar with whatever the area, he's on point. You still lead that squad. If just because he knows the area, he's the front man. He knows where he's going. He knows the terrain. He's in the front spot. You're still calling the shots. He's just guiding you through the field.
He's telling you what's coming up and what's not. Because if you can't see it, and he's seen it before, he'll know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we actually do need to cut. We have reached the end of our time frame. So they're getting ready if you guys want to gear up and play. But if you guys have any questions or anything down the road, I'm usually available. Shoot me a message on Facebook. I may not answer right away. Jim Bagley, easy enough to find.